So we've got 3 full days left. So we're talking on Friday morning, 3 full days, and then the closing ceremony on Sunday night. So how's it gone so far?
It's been a spectacular success in a number of different measures. But we started planning this when we were at Tokyo, so 3 years ago, because obviously that was a delayed games, only 3 years between Tokyo and Paris. One of our team in our client program knew this hotel, knew that there was an extraordinary roof with a 360 view of all the monuments that were about to be turned into sporting venues, and that inspired us to come along and have a look. And towards the back end of 2021, we walked up here and envisaged something that at the time not everybody could see, but thanks to a technical master team, I would say, in understanding how to take 76 tons of equipment off the roof, put 42 tons on the roof, and turn what is a dining venue into probably one of the most technically advanced broadcast studios here in Paris today, to service Eurosport and Max and Discovery Plus.
And so looking back, what would you say are some of your personal highlights of the last couple of weeks so far?
A few things, without doubt, from our side, the camaraderie with our teams. On this roof in the morning, we have 11 productions going to air doing our breakfast programming across our markets. And we service 47 markets in 19 languages. We are linear productions, free to air in Sweden, and streaming across the platforms, and obviously our social teams. To have that team of people come to work every day through the entire duration of the games with the same vigor and passion for creating content as the day before and the day after, that's been a huge success. Putting the pressure on these teams to deliver every day that same story has been our real challenge, and they've delivered that in spades. The other side I will say is having the athletes come up here. It's one thing to build a technical masterpiece. We had to turn it into a home. We had to have the athletes want to be here. So as we sit here today, 63 gold medalists, along with many other medalists to get to 145 medalists in total, have visited WBD House across the different languages and productions. And that, for me, is the real measure for success, because it meant it was a place where people wanted to share their story.
So having this location has really kind of helped you on that sort of editorial and content front, then enabling you to get the athletes in and share the success and tell those stories.
Oh, it was essential. And on a couple of parts, when the committee said to us about 4 years ago they were going to turn the local areas here into venues, and some of the world's greatest monuments were going to become venues, like at the base of the Eiffel Tower was beach volleyball, we needed to bring our team and our family into the same area. So that was sort of the first mission. Also to be close to the NOC houses, the National Olympic Committee houses where the athletes are based, to be in the proximity so they can come here with ease. This venue is outside an Olympic corridor or cordon, which means you don't need accreditation to come here. So the ease of guests and VIPs and visitors to come and join us is really important. So there's a number of pieces that came together in a jigsaw puzzle that made this one of the best studios that we could really put together for our Olympics in our backyard, in our time zone.
And you mentioned the teams as well. How have they all performed? Because obviously you've got so many of the different territories. You mentioned, serving 47 different rights territories, 11 of those creating their own content. So how have those teams performed and kind of got on with each other and coordinated? How's that worked?
It's been brilliant. I mean, it's a very happy family of content creators, people who have a passion for not only sport, but for the Olympic Games. Our role as an Olympic broadcaster is to tell the story of the athletes. And it's not just what we do here on the roof, but also our teams in market. So we have about 75 camera crews roaming every part of Paris and across France. They have reporters. We have Olympic venue producers, what we call OVPs, in every venue to make sure the story of the competition is there to be told and explained to all of our reporters. So we have totally immersed ourselves in these Olympic Games to make sure that wherever that moment happens, we are there to tell that story. And that's a great thing about the Olympics. You never know where something extraordinary is about to happen. You just have to be everywhere to capture it.
And we've spoken a little bit about some of the highlights and some of the successes. Is there anything that's taken you by surprise or any challenges that you might have faced that you perhaps weren't expecting?
This is an extraordinary challenge to turn the roof of a hotel And the Hotel Raphael is 99 years old. To turn the rooftop of a hotel into a operating studio of this magnitude was a huge challenge. And I will always be in great debt to the teams that eventually took potentially a mad scientist view of what we could do from an editorial perspective and technically make it happen. But that was a masterstroke. From the producer's side to then bring the talent up here and bring the athletes up here and create shows like Bonjour Paris or Bonsoir Paris, where we're sitting right now on the host set. Again, those shows are engaging an audience around the fact that sport is fun and the athletes love to tell their stories about competing. So all these pieces of that jigsaw puzzle came together to make it happen. But 3 years and a lot of hard work and a lot of focus to make this happen. So that was the challenge and the opportunity.
And I understand that you're going to have quite a few plant pots to return to the rooftop on Monday.
There's a nursery down the road where I hope they've been watering the plants. We've had a bit of rain here in Paris, so hopefully they should be okay. But yeah, we have to put it back the way we found it. But the hotel management here have been fantastic to work with. They've allowed us to completely change the rooftop of their hotel to be a broadcast facility. And it's not just what you see here. There's more technology on the floor below. And on the ground floor in conference centres is really where the engine room is that connects us from here to the IBC, to our office here in Paris, where Eurosport is based, and to another main office in London.
So looking ahead, Milano Cortina in 2026 going to be quite a different setup with the Winter Games spread across a few different cities. Tell me about plans for that. How are they progressing, and how are you looking to cover those games as well?
Well, the geography of Milano Cortina is really setting the charter for how we're going to make that work. Obviously, we can't do this. We can't be outdoors. Everybody will freeze. So you have to think about what is that story. Markets like Norway and Sweden, the Winter Olympics is really important. Same for Poland and France and Germany, Italy. So we have to think about where those games really matter for those particular markets. It's about 50% of the size of the sport. So it's about half the size of the summer games into winter. But we're on a real roll now. Our audience is starting to understand sport on streaming. So the Olympic Games on Max and Discovery Plus in some markets, I keep saying to our teams, the penny has dropped. So for us, from a delivery and editorial perspective, we'll be following that same mission to make sure that every moment of Milano Cortina that is produced by OBS will be broadcast on our streaming platform. And then we will find destinations across the top clusters, as they're called, the 6 clusters across the top of the Dolomites, as to where we base our locations, where we base our teams to tell those stories.